The Cats burst out of the blocks early against the Saints and then completely dominated play in the second half to record a classy 45-point win at Kardinia Park and clinch an 11th straight victory. This is your Round 21 match review. We're feeling a little bit arrogant this afternoon, aren't we? 11 straight wins. How could you not be feeling a little bit arrogant after that? Well, I will take these glasses off in a second. There you go. But no, 11 straight wins. How good are we travelling right now? We cannot lose. We've forgotten how to lose a game of football, I think. But that's great, isn't it? And we've got 2 more games to go of the regular season, which should be walk in the park. Again, I should put the glasses back on. I'm getting very arrogant. But that's what happens when you win 11 straight. You're gonna get a big head. I've had to adjust the hat strap a little bit because it's getting a bit full now. That's okay. Look, if this is your first time joining the show, thank you for putting up with my arrogance early. If you've seen me before, you know I'm a little bit carried away with the Cats sometimes, especially when we have a win. Even more so when we have 11 straight wins. It's building. My head's going to explode if this keeps going on like this for much longer. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Look at Brad. He wants you to. He's giving you the big fist. He played his 50th game on the weekend. Wasn't he awesome? There you go. Just hit that little bell button and it'll give you a little notification too. Let's get on with the show. And before we get onto it in full, this week's free plug for a local business, a small business, is for Manticore Entertainment. And they've just put out a new game which you can buy at some of the local shops like Mind Games and Pop Culture, and I think Gifts for the Geeks, another one as well. It's called Voyage Home, and it's a tabletop board game for 2 to 6 players, and it's based on Homer's Odyssey, which is a famous Greek myth. You can see more details and get some links in the show notes as well. But and I'll put Matt and Tom's contact details there as well. But they're a small company. They're fully Geelong owned, 100% Geelong owned company, building slowly. But they've got a good website there, so you can go check them out as well. All right, let's us get on with the show. So my key takeaways, my big takeaways from the game, other than 11 straight wins, which we can't get past, I have to start by, I'll start by acknowledging the 150 games for Special K, Kardinia. Well done, mate. It's been a tough road for you at times, and you haven't always had the love of the Geelong crowd, but 150 games, no mean feat. So, yep, hats off to you. And Closey, the best 50 games we've ever seen. Probably Selwood might have a say, might raise an eyebrow at that, but no, great 51st games. Let's hope you play another 200 in the hoops for us. That'll be great. Fantastic from the both of them, and I think they handled it pretty well on the day, and the boys made sure we had another win in a milestone game, so that's always great. We did have a late withdrawal, didn't we? We had Danger pull out during the warm-up with some calf awareness, I think they're calling it. So he's had that injury throughout the year, so he was a late withdrawal, and in comes the Dalhouse, for his first game since round 14, I believe it was. So it's good to see him get back. He didn't muck around with the boots, though, did he? He had the Leary boots on. Make sure you see me. I'm back. But good on him. He played okay. I thought he probably accepts that it's this season. There's a new generation coming through, and he'll be there if we need him. Hopefully, we keep all the players that are in our best 22 at the moment, keep them fit and firing, ready for grand final, and no calamity ensues, and we're all ready to go come that first week in September. That'll be lovely. But he's there if we need him, which is great. And Saints, oh my goodness me, St Kilda. Can you ever win at Kardinia Park? It appears not. There's a lot of 23-year-olds out there that have never seen you win a game at Kardinia Park because it's really been that long. What are you doing? You're going to have to win someday. But by all means, AFL, please keep fixturing them at Kardinia Park. We love to host them down here, and we'll keep hosting them down here. If we're happy to play them twice a year down here in future, that's great. Sorry, Saints fans, I am getting a little carried away, I must admit. But look, top 2 is looking like almost a lock. You can almost put that padlock on it and put it to bed. I think there's a couple more games that just need to play out, and we just want to make sure we get over the Gold Coast next week, which should be pretty comfortable. But pretty much it's almost there, I'd say. Top 2, home final in Melbourne, most likely at the MCG. I'd be shocked if we were playing at GMHBA in a few weeks' time. That's not going to happen. It'll be at the MCG, and probably be against Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane or something like that. So hopefully it's against Freo. Actually, Freo beat us, but then so did Sydney. Oh, God. Okay, qualifying final we'll go in confident, I think. But yeah, we're going to have to flip the table a little bit, or whatever the phrase is. Turn the table on a couple of teams that might have beaten us throughout the year. All right, let's have a look at the first quarter, though. So the Saints got off to a pretty good start through Jack Sinclair. I always get a bit nervous when the opposition kicks the first goal. I think, here we go. But same thing last week happened. I'm like, okay, we'll turn around. But no, they got off to a good start. But we got a quick response back through Tui, the Moroccan sunset. He had a nice little sold the candy and then snap around the corner. It wasn't his best kick, but he had Hawkins on the goal line there too, just to make sure it got through okay. Then Brad Close in his 50th. Well, here we go. Brad, get a goal early in your 50th, and he was 25 metres out right in front and just unfortunately couldn't quite nail it, which was a bit frustrating. But then Hawkins just says, watch this, boys. And he kicks a couple of goals in the quarter and he's rolling. It's great. Henry's getting in on the action as well. They threw him up forward early, didn't they? I was a bit surprised by that move. But maybe he's like the backup in case one of Hawkins or Cameron goes down in September. We've got another player there that's played a bit of time up forward this year. So not a bad idea to give him some exposure up forward too. And then you had Duncan after the siren. Wasn't that a great goal? He's good after the siren, Duncan. You'd bet your house on him kicking a goal after the siren. Especially almost right in front too. So that was a great kick from him. Never looked in doubt, really. It was great. We ended up winning the quarter by 22 points. So quite comfortable. 6-goal first quarter. Rare roll, and that's what you like to see. But sure enough, the Saints came back in the second quarter. We were a little bit all over the shop to start with. They got a goal through Membry. I think it was that was a free kick or a mark paid inside 50, and then a short kick, and then another short kick. I'm like, come on, boys, tighten up a little bit here. This is getting sloppy, and we don't want to give up this lead. And we just couldn't quite put them away in that second quarter, and they were sort of hanging close. And I think they ended up winning the quarter by a couple of goals. There was a couple of unlucky moments too, where Jezza sort of tried to kick it and it ricocheted off a Saints player, and then there was 3 Saints running onto it, and it was like, oh, come on, how much bad luck can you have? But yeah, they got it to within 4 points that quarter through a goal through Butler, and then Stengel. Thankfully, Stengel popped up towards the end of the quarter, last few seconds of the quarter, and nailed one from about 40 metres out to put us back up by about 10 points. So going into the half, we're 10 points up. It's like, okay, we've got the lead. That's all right. Third quarter, here we come. We're pretty good in third quarters, and that's what we proved again in the third quarter this time around as well. So we. Jezza got us off to a good start pretty quickly with a nice soccer goal off the ground. And then we had Izzy kicking goals on the run from around the corner. That was beautiful, wasn't it? He's like quick grab kick. He didn't have long to get rid of it, but he did the job. And then Max Holmes takes the intercept mark. Goes, I thought he's going to pass it because everyone's saying, kick it to me. No, Maxie's like, don't worry, boys, I've played 20-odd games now. I know what I'm doing. Goes back and goes, bang! Maxie, sorry, Beck, I scared my partner. He nailed it, and didn't we love it? Well, for me, that was the highlight of the night. He was already playing well up until that point, and then he nails that one, and I'm just like, oh my God, Max, have my babies. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But our poor old St Kilda, not only did we started getting on top of them, but Mr. Paper Mache himself, I shouldn't say that, but Hanbury went down again with another injury. He just cannot get a free run at it, this guy. He's gone down again, so I think it's a soft tissue, so hopefully he might be done for the year now too. So he just can't get a good run at it, can that bloke? And yeah, look, Cats won the quarter by 23 points, so clearly dominant. Third quarter's the last couple of weeks. I think we haven't conceded a goal in the third quarter, and we've kicked 12. Complete dominance in the third quarter. Premiership quarter. And into the fourth quarter, Izzy got his third goal. He was having a day out in front of goals. A lot of them were coming from within 10 or 15 metres of goal, fair enough. There was that second goal he kicked in the third quarter was quite nice. But yeah, a couple of marks in front of goal. He's in the right place at the right time, and was the beneficiary of some good work. So yeah, good on him. And Jezza had the nice little J-curve going there from the boundary at the construction's end of the ground. Closey finally got a goal too. We were willing him to get that goal, but he put the afterburners on and got through, kicked a goal from close, from pretty much right in front on the run, which was great. He did have a bit of a tough night though. I didn't think. I thought he was struggling through the night a little bit. He's been pretty much perfect the last couple of weeks, but he's just looked a tad off it this week. So hopefully he'll come good again in the weeks to come as we get into the finals. And didn't we love big baby Guthrie taking a huge contested mark in front of goal? Didn't he fly high, and his flowing blonde locks just waving in the breeze, and he's just his hands outstretched and clunking that mark and just flexing on his way down to the ground again with gravity pulling him back down to earth. He almost resisted gravity for a second there. But big baby Guthrie, we love it when you fly high. And just keep taking those clunkers. Just wherever you want to go on the ground, baby Guthrie, just you go where you want. It's your game now. This is your club in the next few years, so you just take charge and we'll follow you. Don't worry about it. Look, the game was over. Like last week, we let the opposition get a couple of late goals. So it ended up being Cats won the quarter by 12 points, but probably could have been a bit more. We won the game by 45 in the end. Could have been more like 60 points, 10-goal win. I think the neutral observers said Geelong absolutely smashed the Saints, especially in that second half. And yeah, look, they got it back a little bit, but looks like the season's pretty much done. They're a chance still, I guess, to make the finals. I would say it's gone for them, but they might still believe they're a hope to make it. But I think it may depend on some other results. I'm not sure. All right, some ticks and crosses. Should we do some ticks and crosses? Yes. Okay, let's do some ticks and crosses. Oh, we're going to go with ticks first. There we go. All right, the Oz kicker. There was an Oz kicker on the ground, little 8-year-old kid. He was shushing the crowd. He kicked a nice goal from 10 metres out, a bomb. We'll call it a bomb from 10 metres out, and he loved it. He was shushing, but he's seen someone doing that on the telly. He loved it, so I thought that was great. I thought that's worthy of a tick. Tell you who else loves it? Jezza. He loves it when his teammates do something good, when they take a contested mark. You just see his fists going up. He's like, yes! Oh, hang on, Brad. What are you doing? Get off the screen, Brad. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. He's going, yeah! Jezza, you gun. You love it when your teammates are on fire, don't you, mate? So Jezza, yeah, he loves it. Big baby muscles. We've talked about big baby. He loves it. He's got the biggest muscles for a 6-month-old I've ever seen. Holmesy, you're going to be elite, mate. I said this at the start of the year. I said, come 2023, you are going to be in the talk for Brownlows. You're going to be one of the top 10 AFL players in the comp. I'm already seeing signs of it, and it's not going to be... I think you just get better with every game. He's just going to absolutely tear this competition apart in a few years. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love watching it. And controversial, but is Jed Bewes better than his dad? I think he is. Yes, his dad. And I'm dirty on his dad because he went to Brisbane in the end. But he was a good player. But I think Jed's... he had a wonderful game. I couldn't quite get him into the votes. Pretty hard to get everyone into the votes last night. But Jed was great. And yeah, is he better than his dad? I'll leave that up to you to let me know. All right, some crosses. It's hard to do some crosses. Ooh, Richmond player there. Menengola, he got a lot of it and was moving around the ground well, but just probably some of the decisions he was making and some of the execution wasn't quite there, but I'd give him a bit of time. Whether he's got the luxury of time, I don't know. We've got a lot of depth this year, and it might be hard for him to confirm a spot in the 22, but I think, if injuries allow it and he stays in the team and or rotations allow it, then I think give him a couple of weeks and we'll start seeing the best of him. So I don't want to go too hard on him just yet, but there was a couple of moments in that game that were really costly and just, stuff that we'd seen weeks gone by before he got injured. It's like, oh, okay, that's still there. It's a bit frustrating considering the level and the standard that the whole team's playing at the moment. Those little things really stand out a lot more than maybe what they were when that was kind of across the board, maybe earlier in the season or last year as well. Saints couldn't miss. That was frustrating, wasn't it? I think they kicked 5 in a row or 6 in a row to start with. I'm like, come on. You're only in touch with this because you can't miss. And look, good kickings, good football. But eventually they were going to start missing, weren't they? And then we were going to just pretty much put the foot down after that. And that's what happened. So that was frustrating. I got Rewalt there because I was a bit frustrated after the game, checking the scores, seeing Richmond won again. I'm like, I thought they were done for finals. I thought we'd got rid of them finally. But alas, no, they're still around, and we have to put up with them for a little bit longer. Hopefully they'll lose a game in the next couple of weeks or so, and someone will knock them out. But it's looking more and more likely that they're going to make it now, which is really annoying. But hopefully they'll play a Freo or someone in Perth and get smashed in the first week, and we don't see them again for the next 20 years in the top 8. That'll be lovely. I mentioned Menengola needs a bit more time. There's a couple of players... I don't really want to... Menengola for me stood out a little bit, but I won't name anyone else. I just thought there's a couple in the team that just looked a shade off their best. I think just, that happens every now and then. You're not going to play your best footy every single week, and there's always going to be some teammates that are going to play better than others. But yeah, just a couple that just didn't quite have the touch that they normally do. But yeah, I'm being picky with my crosses today, so don't worry too much about that. And my last whinge, there was just an ADHD supporter next to us that was fidgeting and jumping around and elbowing us the whole time and was barely watching the game. I'm like, mate, get back on your pills. What's going on? You're driving me nuts. And then I think we moved away from him a seat, and he starts banging the seat up and down. I'm like, oh, God, give us a break, sunshine. I've had enough. I have had enough. All right, shall we talk about some votes? Let's talk about some votes. All right, I've gone with Brandon Parfitt for the 1 vote. I thought he was fantastic with his 10 clearances and his first game back for a little bit. Oh, kind of his first game back, first full game anyway. Isaac Smith with his 3 goals. I had to get him in there. Zach Guthrie was incredibly impressive and probably his best game or equal best game for the club that I've seen so far. Max Holmes, controversial one. I did the poll and it was really a split decision between Max Holmes and Reece Stanley for about 13 or 14 hours of the poll. And then eventually Max hit the front. But I still personally felt Reece was the best. So, look, these are just my votes. I've gone with Reece as for the full 5 votes for this game. So, well done, Reece boy. I'm proud of you and I love you. All right, shall we do some tweets? Yes, I hear a very loud yes from the listeners of the show. Let's do some tweets. And our first tweet is from Chris Podbury. And Chris says, the Cat Attack song should be the team song. Kudos to the DJ. We love the Cat Attack song, don't we? And it's great, isn't it? I'd happily listen to that over and over and over on loop. I don't think we want to replace the club song, but let's hear more of that. I think every game, let's get the club song going, banging loud through that PA system. I might have to get it on this show at some point. I'll check with Andrew, see if he'll let me put it on before the opening. But during my opener at some point. I love the Andrew opening before on the show, but we might just once we might put the Cat Attack one on there if we win next week. How about we do that? If we lose, bad luck. We're staying with what we got. All right, thank you for that, Chris. Who else have I got? I'm all over the shop here today. AJ Home says, super impressed with how the football department continue to find talent and rejuvenate this list while remaining competitive. It's a credit to them. They're an amazing bunch of guys and girls. I'm not sure what the makeup is, but they do a fantastic job year in, year out. They just keep finding diamonds in the rough. I don't know how they do it. Look, Max Holmes was a high pick, and he's proven worth it. And you know, I guess if you in a club like Geelong, you're probably going to maximise your potential. If you're in a club that's really struggling and you're a top pick, well, you're probably going to struggle and you may not reach your potential. It's pretty hard to be a high pick at a dodgy club and turn that club around. There's a lot of pressure on one person, especially when there's 40 other players on the list. It's not like basketball where you might get a gun in the draft and there's 10 people on the team and 5 on the court at one time. You know, one person can be much more influential, but unfortunately in AFL, the top draft pick can only do so much, and often the pressure gets to them too much, and it's just all too hard. Thanks, AJ. Alpha says, regulation win. Sal, Danger, Rowan and Blitz all play finals if fit, but who comes out? Bloody tough. Isn't it tough? It's a really hard one to see who comes out of this team. There might be a few obvious ones, like Dell will probably come out. But who else? We're going to rest some. I don't think anyone got injured. You've got to imagine, there's a chance that we might just give Danger another week. That's a really good possibility. If he's a bit sore, we may just put him in cotton wool. I'd say Selwood will come back now. I don't know. I have no idea. It's a bit early in the week to start thinking about who's going to come out of this team. We'll see how some of the players pull up. I guess that'll be a good indicator. And Monday mornings usually, or Monday when the injury report comes out from the club, that's usually a good indicator of who's going to be playing next week. But if this week's anything to go by, none of us had any idea what was going to transpire in the days and hours leading up to the game with some of the massive changes that were made. But we still won the game by 45 points with a huge call. Look, Selwood and Danger aren't driving this club anymore, but clearly Blitzarves is. He's a huge part of it. We really missed him. And Gary Rowan can be a bit of a barometer for us as well, but none of them were required. And the others that stepped in did the job. So it's just a next man in kind of thing at the moment, isn't it? So it's great. All right, thank you, Alpha. Campbell says, I'm getting increasingly worried we won't be able to carry our form into finals, but I've got to be optimistic. I love what this team is doing. Campbell, you got to be optimistic, mate. You got to just go with it, mate. Just go with it. Look, if we fall on our face in September and it all comes crashing down, oh well, it is what it is, and it's going to hurt us, and we'll probably never recover, to be honest. But don't waste your life stressing about these things. Enjoy the ride, mate, because that's the fun part, isn't it? Of supporting a really good team. You got to enjoy it while it's happening. Be in the moment. Have some fun. It'll all be over in a few weeks. So enjoy. Don't just enjoy that last day in September if we make it. Enjoy the ride because it's a really nice ride at the moment. It's lots of fun. All right, we've done Chris before. All right, so Josh Barnes says, Jeremy Cameron with a full-on celebration as Sam De Koning threw himself at a spoil in the final minute of the game. He just loves it. Oh, doesn't he love it? And how good was Sam De Koning, by the way? Couldn't get him into the votes either, but how many goals did you kick, Max King? Maybe one. Oh, bad luck, Max. You've got Sam De Koning on your hammer again. I mean, he doesn't give up many goals. He's the All-Australian fullback. Tell me who's a better fullback at the moment. And don't give me Darcy Moore. It's Sam De Koning's All-Australian, and he's going to play less than 30 games and he'll be an All-Australian. I don't even think Tom Stewart did it that quick. Look, I could be totally wrong. There's got to be someone else out there that's got to be up there with the fullback considerations. But he's making a strong case. How many fullbacks are we going to have this year? I said this last week. 5 or 6? Let's go 7. Why not? Let's throw 7. Let's go 8. Why not? I'm sure we'll find a couple more if I really think hard about it. But he's just absolutely dominating, and I'm loving it. And Jezza, I love what you do, Jez. I think the players love it too, mate. You just you're an absolute fan on the ground, and you're one of us when you run out there and you're cheering players on. Thank you, Josh. And Kieran says 11 wins by an average of 33. Boom. Kieran, pretty good, isn't it? I think Collingwood's got their 11 wins as well, but they're winning by an average of 10.5 or something like that. So look, both teams travelling wonderfully at the moment, and 4 points is 4 points. Or should I say 44 points is 44 points. But there is a little bit of a difference in the margins, and clearly most people would have Geelong as the premiership favourites just based on how they're winning the games. And there's still, until Collingwood has a convincing win, I think the doubters will still be there for Collingwood. I'm personally not one of them. I think Collingwood's a pretty good team, and it's just one of those things. It's one of those coincidences this year that they're somehow they're probably some games that they should have won by a bit more than a kick or two. But yeah, they've beaten some really good teams like Melbourne by a kick or so, and that's no easy feat. So I'd take beat Melbourne by a kick any day. I'd be more than happy with that. Beat Brisbane or Sydney by a kick. More than happy with that. They've got a tough couple of games coming up though. Collingwood get some pretty good opponents, so we'll see if they can finish the season pretty strong. Look, I think they'll probably split the difference. I think they'll win one of the two, but hope that just doesn't fall apart from the last couple of weeks, and they can carry the form into September. It'll be good if us and them can just keep pushing on. I think there's a lot more love for Collingwood this year. From non-Collingwood supporters now that Buckley and Eddie Maguire's not there anymore. It just feels like a different Collingwood, and everyone's given them a fresh start. So good on them. I mean, it's good for the fans. Maybe we'll play each other again in another grand final 11 years later, and we'll do these again. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So all right, who's next? Thank you, Kieran. Codes says, wish the media would hype us up as much as they do Collingwood for 11 wins in a row. I don't think it's going to change, Codes. I think Collingwood sells newspapers or gets clicks these days, and it's not changing anytime soon. And I'm more than happy to stay under the radar, although I think it's harder and harder to stay under the radar at the moment. I think we're we're not under the radar anymore. I think we're the hunted now, and it's really up to us to see can we handle that pressure in the next 5 or 6 weeks and go all the way. It's going to be a tough one. I think they're up to it. I believe they are. But the real test is coming very soon, and I hope the boys stand up strong. Thank you, Codes. Mel says, it's pressure, it's speed, it's decision-making, it's pride in the jumper, it's playing for one another, it's effort. It's all of those things, isn't it? And you're just so proud to be a Geelong supporter at the moment. You just sit there and wonder, and I didn't include this tweet, but someone else said it. It's like, I just got no words. I'm speechless. think it might have been Ben from the Cattery, actually. But yeah, just that's how I felt. I have no words for how this team's going. It's half admiration, half shock, disbelief. It's all of that, and you just think, how are they doing it? And a lot of us rode them off at the end of the year. I didn't, but yes, a lot of us rode them off at the end of the year last year and said, oh well, that ship sailed, never to be seen again. And I think one thing we did predict is that a few of our champions from years gone by were going to fade a little bit, and they have, but their best is still pretty good, and Danger's been our best player a couple of weeks this year, so he's still got it when he needs it. Selwood has probably been our top 5 best players for the first half of the year, and probably struggled just a little to get up after games a little bit more, or maybe he's just being managed a little bit more in the second half of the year. Maybe they're just being really smart and conservative with him. But yeah, look, the older stars are fading a little bit. Izzy Smith was pretty good last night, but he's probably dropped off a bit from last year. So it's all. But look, the Cats lost 4 games, couple to go. Imagine get through this year 18-4, winning 18. Ooh, you don't lose too many grand finals. You don't. It's not guaranteed, but 18 wins. Ooh, I'd like to know how many times you lose with 18 wins. It's pretty good. It's almost like the 2007 again, isn't it? Especially if we go all the way with 16 wins in a row. Ooh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? All right, how many we got to go? Not many, I think. Couple to go. Syme says, Cats Shop currently placing an order for a pallet of number 9 iron-on numbers as we speak. Number 9 for Max Holmes. Yeah, I've heard on the grapevine, Syme, that they've sold out already, and there is none left, and there's delays getting more from China. So, unfortunately, if you're a little tacker out there, a little kid that wants to get number 9 on your top, too late, suck it up. You're going to have to get the old Sharpies out and draw it on the back. So, there's no more number 9s. Max Holmes is the demand for Max Holmes is going through the roof. And, bad luck. Get the Sharpies out, and you'll try again next year. If you try, or maybe see if you can go to a Spotlight or something, Lincraft, or make your own, something like that. Anyway, thank you. And the protected area, the last tweet of the week is Jerry McCameron spoiling at centre-half back with 3 minutes left in the game. Says everything about where we are at right now. That was great, wasn't it? He's like, oh my God. I think it was a bad turnover from Tui that led to that moment. But Jez is like, no, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run 20, 25 metres and cut this one off and fist it into the crowd and then run over and give a wink to the front row and give them a good smile. They loved it, didn't they? That hard stuff, I wouldn't say he's a leader, but some of the things he's doing are really showing the way for the rest of the boys. And he's just bringing a lot of joy and a lot of fun without being carried away and without being an idiot about it. I love it when he points when there's a 50-metre penalty and he goes like that. The crowd, everyone in the crowd near me was just doing the same thing. It was a bit like Bay 13 at the MCG with Murphy's in the cricket. Everyone's just copying it. It was great. I love him. All right. Just in finishing up, a couple of the big moments for me. Oh, no, a couple of things. Big moments. I'll start with the Jezza Sport at halfback. Yeah, we talked about that. Max Holmes' huge goal. I did like when Zach Guthrie came off late in the last, and he got a big applause from the crowd. There was a huge applause. I think half the stadium were clapping him off. I was like, I've never seen that happen for Zach Guthrie before. It's like he's played his 300th or something like that. That was really warm. Nice moment. I loved that. I loved seeing Stengel take a specky. It just looked a bit like Aaron Christensen from the 2011 grand final, just splitting the pack and landing on his feet. That was gorgeous. And that 9 goal, it wasn't a moment, but just the 9 goals in a row, I think from the second to the third quarter, something like that, I think, or maybe even to the fourth. 9 goals straight. I mean, that is just complete domination. It was amazing. For the Saints, I don't want to bang on about the Saints too much because this is a Geelong YouTube channel and it's all about the Cats and we're very one-eyed. But for the Saints, I thought Brad Crouch was good. He was pretty serviceable. He was good last time we played him as well. Jack Steele, their skipper, was handy. Jack Sinclair, as I mentioned, got the first goal of the game and was pretty good as well. Just needs a haircut, but otherwise he was pretty good. And Tim Membry, he was fine as well. Look, Saints had a good quarter, the second quarter, but other than that, they were pretty horrible. They really just lost their way in that second half, and it's hard to say a good thing about them. Sorry if you're a Saints fan watching this. It was not it wasn't the best effort from your team on the weekend. A couple of highlight moments, but yeah, it was a bit of a sad story. As I said, if they didn't kick straight, it would have been a lot worse. And got a couple of goals back late as well. It's just not a great way if that's finished your season off. Not great. And yeah, maybe next year. So there you go. I thought you were going to be for top four this year, and I thought you and Freo were probably the two teams to maybe even Carlton. But you and Carlton have probably lost your way a little bit, and Freo, they're a hard one to pick, but they're still thereabouts in that top four. So we'll see. All right, that's pretty much it. So next week we've got the Suns at Metricon. If you're lucky enough to be going to that game, well done to you. It's nice to get up to the Gold Coast this time of year, so hopefully there's a few of us heading down that way. I think there's plenty of tickets left. I know my parents are heading up there. Hey, Dad and Joe, if you're watching this show, get some good seats, I hope, and cheer the boys on. And hopefully, we'll get Selwood back. That'll be nice if he travels on the plane. So that'll be nice. We should get Danger, Blitz, Selwood, and Rowan back if we play them all, but we might rest a few, so who knows. My final thoughts after the game, it's probably our best team that we've had since 2011. I think we had 13 straight wins in 2011, so we're still a bit far off that. 13 wins to start the year, and that the one loss came against the Saints in that epic home and away game, probably one of the best home and away games ever. But we're 11 wins on the trot. If we win that next couple, we'll draw level with that 2011 side, and that side did end up winning the premiership. But in terms of consecutive games, then you're going all the way back to 2007. The Cats got 16 in a row before they lost to Port Adelaide towards the end of the season, second last game of the year, I think. But yeah, look, season's over, I think, for the Saints. And look, as long as we've got Pumpkin, the official cat of the Hoop Show, since we've had Pumpkin, the Cats haven't lost. So Pumpkin's not going anywhere, so rest easy, sleep well, Cats fans. He is staying put in the House of Hoops. I'm taking good care of him. I gave him a nice chicken wing on the weekend. He's well spoiled at the minute, so don't worry. We'll keep him happy, keep him fat and healthy and happy, and he'll be good. Anyway, that's it from me. Enjoy the spoils of another win, an 11th straight win, and I will see you later in the week with the match preview of the Gold Coast game. Go Cats. Take care.